I know that Chesterfield had a while gan Wrexham poorly.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to our post-match live stream. Wrexham are still in the cup, a 1-1 draw at Chesterfield, and getting anything out of Chesterfield in the cup's always a nice feeling. So, a very, very impressive fight back in the last half hour, and it's got to be said, Dean Keats throws on a triple substitution, worked.
Yeah, it did. It did. I thought we were saying this in commentary. We thought we just looked a little bit lacking up front. We were trying to create chances, but we just nothing was really sticking. And then the triple substitution comes on, a long ball from Horsefield on the right hand side to Redmond, one of the substitutes. Redmond puts it in, goal. So
yeah.
As simple as that, really.
2 minutes after the substitution, and then the changes kept being positive and then having their effect. The Keel Wright and Devontae Redmond came on to replace Luke Young and Luke Summerfield, either side of the diamond. Enjoyed the sight of me scratching my ear there. That was fun, wasn't it? And Hooper went on up front for Harris, and it just became a bit more vertical, a bit more direct. Because previously, I mean, Chesterfield, it was diamond against diamond. When we had the ball, it felt like the two identical shapes were cancelling each other out. It didn't when Chesterfield had it in the first half. They were getting the ball forwards earlier before we got our defensive shape in, and they were getting at us in the early stages, getting in behind us as well. And we weren't doing that. We were more studied in our passing, but it wasn't crisp enough to actually get through them all that often. But once you made the changes, it did, didn't it? And then we were getting in behind, and we were causing problems.
Yeah, I thought it was... It was all right passing from us, if I'm honest, in the first hour. But I agree, it wasn't really direct. When there was a quick counter attack on, we just looked to, apart from when Harris had a chance, he was flagged offside, and a few instances with that really, when the chances came from us just finding gaps. Whereas as soon as we started going more direct with the big sprinters, I thought we looked a lot more dangerous, and it kind of caused Chesterfield a lot of issues because they didn't really know what to do. They didn't know how to defend, where to defend. They were just hoofing it clear, hoping for the best.
We had a sort of, I mean, the first half, we did have half chances. I mean, Young could easily have scored within the first minute, and Harris was in on goal at the start of that move as well. And Harris is running behind the defence, was our main outlet in the first half. But then they were creating better chances, and they had the good fortune to be given a goal. Now, I'm never a fan when people talk about making up for someone's mistake. If you make a mistake that costs a goal, then that goal isn't going to be erased, unless you win, I suppose.
Yeah.
But having said that, Sean Pearson, who made a poor mistake for the goal, just misjudged a long ball forwards, let Fondop in behind him, and Fondop dinked at Leighton, did then fight back, did put in a good performance, and also did that miraculous stop on the line with about 3 minutes left when Anthony Spiro had gone round Leighton. So to be fair to Pearson, I don't know if you can wipe out a mistake, but he certainly went a long way to making amends, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and it was extremely key block. Leighton had just come flying off his line, not in a. It sounds like obviously keepers do come off their line, and it wasn't something in error. It was just Spiro who got to the ball first before him, flicked it past him, like any striker really should be. And Sean's done well to be close enough. He didn't try to get space between him. He blocked it quite quickly and quite early, so there wasn't any chance of a follow up. The mistake, it happens, if I'm honest. It's one of them ones. It's a long ball. It's got a bit of whip on it. It was a great ball, to be honest, and he's misjudged it. And the man of mystery follows it up, Mike Fondop. The
man of mystery.
Yeah.
International man of misery.
With his weird running that he brought back again today.
Yeah.
One of the substitutes, I think it was Anthony Gerrard, who is not very well liked around here.
He is not.
He was taking the mick out of him after the game for it. He was trying to do the turn the camera around.
John, how could you?
That's appalling, my friend.
That's hurts. I was a male model. What are you talking about? It's awful, that, isn't it? A delicate flower like me getting spoke to like that. That's awful. I won the 1972 gold medal in the Olympics gymnastics.
Did you?
I used to call me the Romanian butterfly. How can you crush the butterfly? Ryan, show the pitch, John. He's got that's quick.
Oh, come on, good save there, mate.
If cables come out now, look at this. We do requests. These cables come out, and you've killed the broadcast. There you go. There. Can you see down there? Is that JJ? Is it? Who's that down there talking to the press? Oh, it's that big of Chesterfield, isn't it?
That's Fondop.
It's Fondop, whoever the heck he is. I don't know. He wound the Wrexham fans up a bit, didn't he?
He did.
And they're waiting for Dean Keats to come out and do the press, and there's Sheridan actually coming out.
Oh, I think I've just looked back at our showing. It's just showing the sky.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. So, hopefully that's showing you now.
Yeah, that'll be a bit better.
That'll be all right.
You can get that. If not,
sorry, John.
If not, check the gallery after the game on the Wrexham AFC website.
Why don't I just turn it the other way?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
that's so stupid. There you go. So hopefully that'll be that'll satisfy your urge to not see our faces for a little bit. But we were fond of. Well, he was an interesting little chappy, wasn't he?
He was.
He should have been booked in the first half. Late on, after this comedy run, he then went in very late on Leighton, and the referee did that annoying thing where, it's in the first 20 minutes, so I'm not allowed to give a yellow card.
Yeah.
Which is nonsense. And then in the second half, right before he was brought off, he clattered Leighton. The rebound was put in, and the referee rightly disallowed it. He could have been booked for that, really. And then he was really taunting the Wrexham fans as he made his way off the pitch. So, frankly, he pushed his luck, didn't he?
He did, and but that is the way he plays. He causes teams problems. He puts himself about, and when a striker does do that, it comes with the territory. Really should have been booked for the one on Leighton because it's late. Very, very late on the keeper. Leighton had kicked the ball away a good 4 or 5 seconds before, so it's not like he was challenging really. And then he appealed in the Chesterfield goal. Obviously in the goal when Chesterfield had a goal disallowed. He was complaining that Rob Leighton had pushed him in the throat. And instead, Rob Leighton had gently tapped him on the shoulder to say.
Well, I think it should be somewhere in the middle of those.
I'm going to be biased one way, but it was just a bit of handbags in the box, and
nothing, was
it was because Fondop had gone flying in, like a big lump he always is at corners, which he does because, to be honest, he's a good player at that. It scares other players, but the problem is he's gone straight into Rob Leighton, who doesn't take any of that. He's not a quiet person by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, it's a strange one.
Right, so John said we were looking good, so that's right. Nick Mannering says hello. Hello.
Hello, Nick.
Nice one.
Yeah, Nick, you should be working, Nick.
Oh, you know Nick, do you?
Yeah, I do know Nick. Nick, get back to work.
Oh, Nick, don't listen to him, okay? Football's more important than work, and looking at us is as good a thing as you'll ever get in your life. Lee B says, all joking aside, we can't keep throwing games away due to mistakes. Are the players scared to express themselves rather than stick to rigid instructions? I think that's two different issues. I think the mistakes are because the confidence in the squad is depressed.
Yeah, it is, if I'm honest. You know, it's a down team. You know, at the end of the day, we're in the league. We're in the relegation zone. And we lost to Chesterfield on Tuesday. We've not had the best of runs. A new manager's come in to try and G it up, but it doesn't happen overnight.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of things. Having Lee Fowler commentating with us on Tuesday, and he was saying before they scored that it's just a mindset Wrexham are in because of that lack of confidence. Of you just feel something will go wrong here, something will crack. And it happened. It's good that it happened early in this game, perhaps, because it allowed us to respond. I mean, it was uncharacteristic of Pearson, and you can understand these mistakes as individual things, apart from the odd one. Chambers' own goal was poor. And the Young own goal, remember that one against Maidenhead? That was really peculiar. Yeah. But just a toe poked in from the edge of the area, very strange. But like you said, quite rightly, it's the accumulation of them, and it's happening so often, and they just need to get their confidence going, to feel like they're...
It's one of them ones where it goes on the back of the defence, and normally Pearson's really good at those, and I think it was just one of them ones. He'd misjudged it, and it to be honest, as much as we think Pearson is this impervious man that never makes mistakes, he's a player in the National League. They're going to make mistakes, and it's unfortunate that the man that was right behind him was Mike Fondop, who really 9 times out of 10 pumps them into the crowd. But he didn't. He showed real composure to just lift it over.
It was a good finish, wasn't it?
It was a very good finish, and Rob Lainton came rushing out just to try and put him under pressure, and he looked like a classy striker then, but then we watched him later on in the game absolutely go like weird wild shots and stuff like that. So it's the...
That's Fondop, isn't it?
It's the Jekyll and Hyde, isn't it, with him?
I mean, Pearson as well, I think that... Okay, I feel... I admit it, we're going away from Lee's point a little bit here because his point's correct, which is why there's so many accidents happening. You're right. Exactly, that's a different matter. I think the thing with this own goal, sorry, I'm so used to saying own goal this season. This mistake is that Pearson's not as quick as he was, but we've got to try and push higher at the pitch. We can't sit back in. Yeah. And so I think Keats is asking Pearson to step outside his comfort level a little bit. Maybe Brian Hughes wasn't comfortable saying that to Pearson, and try to push the team back up. And he knows he's just getting a bit outside his comfort zone. So when that ball's played in, it's a good ball in the sense that it's looking to turn the defence. Yeah. But he's thinking, I don't want to be turned. I'm under pressure then. I didn't want to be this high up. I want to try and intercept it because then I'm not got Fondop on my back and I'm running towards the corner flag. I want to deal with this. And so he tries to stretch and deal with the ball that actually he can't quite reach. So it's an error of judgment, probably based on the fact that he's not quite in his comfort zone. He's been asked to step up a bit higher than he feels secure because he's not quite as got the legs he maybe had before. Yeah,
he's not the quickest. He's not the quickest player by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, he normally has the vision to see things ahead of time, and it's just one of them misjudges. The ball's taking a bit of a whip, and as he's going to put his foot out, the ball's just travelled well. It was a great ball initially down the channel. It was one of the ones that Horsefield was playing as well, which put them under all sorts of pressure. So, you make mistakes like that. Most of the time doesn't result in a goal. It just results in the ball going back to the keeper. But it's unfortunate. It's just resulted in a mistake. And the problem is, over the course of the season, that's happened, and it comes with. I probably agree with you that we're pushed up quite high. So strikers are always pressuring, I think.
But we need to do that, and I think it looks better that way. We can't allow space between the lines. That's why they've gone to the diamond. Yeah. And although I'm on record. I'm not convinced by Barton at all. You can see why he's putting him there simply because we need someone between. I've been screaming out for someone sitting in front of the back four all season, and I feel sort of a little bit validated that Keats, a manager I respect, has just come in, and the first thing he's done is said, "Well, we need someone there because we can't afford to get stretched out like we do."
Definitely.
Saying about Horsefield as well. Well, Peter Higgins is asking how was Horsefield's debut. And Lee is also saying that after the way Horsfield sounded today, he has to start the next game. Yeah, I thought we didn't talk about man of the match, but he's my shout by a distance.
I'd say he was mine as well.
Yeah.
I thought he all bar one ball into the box, reached a Wrexham player, or at least tested a Wrexham player. Defensively, he looked solid. He wasn't afraid to put a slide in. He did a really hard tackle
That was beautiful.
It was one of them old style tackles where it's full blooded, but it's clean because he's won the ball, and he's just it unsettles players like Nepomuceno because he doesn't. That was Barnum Bob, for example, Barnum Bob just stands off because it's just different style of play. He's more of a wing back, whereas Horsfield's a traditional right back. I thought he played excellently, and in terms of starting again, 100%.
I choked myself now. I thought it was a superb debut. Defensively, he was rock solid. His quality going forwards, not just his crossing, but his passing down the line. He was reading people's movement and playing it in.
Yeah.
And he played that pass, of course, for the goal. But going beyond that as well. Okay, I don't want to hang him out to dry, but I mean, Jazzy Barnum Bob played on Tuesday. And Nepomuceno was the best player on the pitch for Chesterfield. I thought he was excellent. He was really causing problems down the left, drifting in and out. He plays today, and I didn't notice him. And I think that's a bit of a comment as well.
Yeah.
For me, Horsefield looked a level up from this level of football at least. He looked a really good player. And I feel encouraged. I said this in the commentary. And again, I feel cruel. I don't want to hang Brian Hughes out to dry either because I feel very sympathetic as a person to him. But I was looking back, in his time as manager, 12 players came to the racecourse, and I would say only JJ Hooper, who hasn't actually, because of injury, been able to prove this, looks like he might be a real success. Whereas Keats, who last time he took over immediately started getting rid of Deadwood and bringing in much better players, has started off by bringing in a fullback who, on that showing, looks at a higher level footballer.
Yeah. He looked tidy on the ball. He was a solid. I think really, obviously we're not hanging Jazzy out to dry, but Jazzy's more of a new style wing back. He likes to bomb up and down, and it's a more modern player. Whereas Horsefield reminded more of an older style right back, but was very good at his job. Yeah, and he's still a young player.
And he was good going forward as well.
And he's a product of the Man City Academy. You don't come out of them academies in the last 10 years and be a poor player.
Well, that sort of passing down the line, I think, is exactly that. I was sort of going to say that in a way, that it's academy training. He's reading the game. He knows when he gets the ball in a certain situation what runs ought to be made. And what was telling was about 5 minutes after he played that ball for Grant, he did it again. And he did it blind. He didn't look up to see if Grant had made the run because he's academy trained, and he assumes that when you get the ball in that part of the pitch, and that's the situation, that when you knock it down the second hole, the striker makes the run outside. And Grant hadn't made the run, it went for a goal kick, but Grant was immediately turning around and apologising. Clearly, A, he knows that's what he should have done, and B, they must have worked on it, I guess, even the short time Horsefield's been there. Definitely. And it's that just awareness, game awareness of knowing in this situation, we've worked on this is what I do, and so he executes, and like I say, Keith brings in 2 or 3 more players like that, and suddenly this looks like a very different team.
Yeah, well, Horsefield really created the goal. I know it's one of them strange things, obviously, because Redmond got the assist, but it was that initial ball down the channel to Redmond that found Redmond in acres of space because Bobby Grant had gone central and unsettled the defence, and then Redmond was a fantastic cross in, and Grant heads it in. And it was a ball that he was playing most of the game, trying to find people. And then when they put on another academy-trained player in Redmond, who's was at Manchester United, sees that ball and runs across, and Grant's for me, Grant's more potent in the box than he is outside the box. He's not the style of player to be running onto things. He's more get the ball into him. He either gets his shot off or he gets a header towards goal because he can't. He's a good header of the ball, despite his not being the tallest of players compared to centre backs. You know, obviously you expect headers of the ball being 6'3", 6'4", and he's like near 6 foot. So yeah, I thought it was impressive from Horsefield today.
Oh, very much. And I'll just say quickly on him as well, Tardoud saying right back's obviously been identified as a problem, which shows today when Horsefield comes in and does a great job. You're 100% right with that.
Yeah.
Was Kevin Roberts that bad? Talking out of school, I think Dean Keats has been asking the same question. My personal take on that was that I don't think we should let Roberts go. I think after Christmas last season, he was quite poor. He had a bad run. He was getting isolated against wingers and he was getting exploited. But I don't think that made him a bad player. It made him a player who, because of the system we were playing, was quite exposed because we were overcommitting a lot to go forwards, playing 4-2-3-1, telling the wide players to stay up. So he's often getting exposed one-on-one. No fullback wants that. And in a more solid system, I think he would be a good player at this level. So I would say I wouldn't have got rid myself. And I certainly... All right, and then shall we say that... Oh, I feel bad saying this. I'll say it in code. If you... Whether you get rid of a player or not, whether that's right or not, depends on who you replace him with. And there are better right backs than Kevin Roberts. And if you brought in a better right back than Kevin Roberts... If we brought in Horsefield permanently... I don't think that's on the table, by the way. But if we brought Horsefield in permanently, I'd have said, oh, yeah, well, fair enough, that was a great move. But if you don't bring in Horsefield permanently, then you've got to ask, are you bringing in a better replacement than Roberts?
Yeah,
I think that's how you judge it, I think.
I think with Kevin Roberts as well, he had an injury, didn't he? And after the injury, I think he got rushed back, and he just didn't look like the same player. But I think that's because, sorry, he just didn't have that sort of run of games of having... And also, I agree with you as well, he was getting isolated a lot, and he's not the style of player to be isolated. He prefers working as a unit. But to be fair, I think Horsefield would have been able to... Horsefield's a step up in quality. He's a league player, really, by his trade. I know that term's banded around a lot, but if anyone was here watching today, I can see on the highlights, he was... a step above the quality we've had at right back in the time I've been watching Wrexham, really, because he's a quality right back. I know he's on an initial month loan, so you know, enjoy the month while we've got him.
Yeah, exactly. Lee B is firing some beauties at us here, and the last two things he said I think go together, and I think they're very important points about our football club at the moment. He says it shows to show even if you can't get into a struggling League 2 side or a poor team, doesn't mean you're a bad player, as some said on Red Passion. And then he also says, do you think some of the vile abuse players get on Red Passion changes players' minds on joining us? As pretty sure incoming players would have a gander at fan sites. Yeah, I mean, I would say yes. I mean, look, let's be honest. The context of this is that there are some people who want the current regime at the club to fail. And because of that, they will criticise absolutely everything. Now, knocking a player before you've seen him play is daft in the extreme. Prejudging anything is unhealthy. And, yeah, I'm quite sure players look at things like that. I don't see how... I'm not trying to say you can't have an opinion, but I think that phrase Lee has used, vile abuse, is sadly appropriate. I don't think, with some of the games lately, the Sutton game, obviously, sometimes the atmosphere is very unpleasant and it goes beyond just people being unhappy with the team that's not doing well. Because this is a team that's not doing well, I'm not denying that for a second. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not a healthy thing to have, and, players look on social media as well, the current players. I mean, do they look forward to playing at home when they think that the moment they make a mistake? There was a question earlier on, wasn't there, about players being scared? And it's exactly that point. Yeah, Lee again. We can't keep making mistakes. Are they scared to express themselves rather than stick to rigid instructions? I'm not sure it's about the instructions. I think it's that when you're getting crucified for making small mistakes,
you're worried
you're not going to take those chances, are you? I would say.
Yeah, and I think Dean's got to kind of... It does start with the manager, so I think it's up to him now to get them believing in themselves again. Because... at the end of the day, we are 21st, and And
With a bullet.
You know, it's
Sorry.
it's one of them things. It's not good to see, but at the same time, it's so easy to just rattle a couple of wins together and you start shooting up the table, and everything looks rosy again.
Yeah.
It's one of them things. There is not a lot separating us between where we are and where we can be.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of. I think a win on Tuesday against Chesterfield into the next round of the FA Cup might just give everyone a bit of a lift, you know.
Yeah.
And people who saw the performance in the second half definitely were singing, and they were a lot more happy than they have been recently.
Yeah,
But, you know, at the end of the day, you come away and you see us play poorly, and in some of the games we have played in, you know, you've got your right to be unhappy. But I think at the same time, get behind the team when we need you most, if I'm honest, you know.
Absolutely. Danny Dyer says, "Oh, be there at Torquay." Nice one, Marsan.
I'm going to have to put that on the Wikipedia now, isn't he?
That's
Wrexham
your
fan.
celebrity fan. Yeah, good lad. Good lad.
Thank you very much.
GG Central says, "Hello, sir." Hi, GG. And there were two more to go back to, because we need to go home, don't we, really?
We do, yeah. Everyone's waiting.
Yeah. Are they waiting?
No, I think they're
right,
still doing it.
Oops. You know, I got the car keys. Tough. Liam Roberts, he was at the game as well, and he said it was a good performance in the second half. He was listening to the game. Spot on, Liam. And there was John. John was saying the under-21s look good at the moment.
Yeah.
They do. I'm impressed by a number of them. Although I personally feel maybe they're not quite there yet to be involved in the first team, or at least not in the first team that lacks confidence. If this is a bouncing changing room, then maybe there's one or two that could do.
Exactly, yeah. And we've loaned probably the biggest prospects out in Jack Thorne and Matty Sargent. They're getting their first team experience in the Welsh Premier League, which is obviously it's top division. You know, it's top division. It's the Premier League.
It's literally a top division.
It is a top division.
But pejoratively, it's top.
It's relevant in terms of its quality, is I'd say about Conference North in terms of the top half. But they're playing in different situations, and it's about their game management. And like Matty's at Airbus, you know, a team are expected to struggle. So it's good for him to kind of learn on how to deal with teams like that, because at the end of the day we want the youngsters to be more battle hardened rather than coming in kind of raw, if you know what I mean. In terms of the players coming through, Jake Bickerstaff's definitely one to watch, and Callum Huxley, and
Beaumont as well. I think Beaumont's got potential, strong, big. It's our dude saying Keats had a lot of adverse comments on returning. He's faced the criticism, to be fair, stabilise things. Yeah, he's not someone to back down.
He's not. No, it's not in his. It's not in his nature. You know, he is. Remember, we beat St Mirren Colts 4-1, and he came in unhappy about the performance. That is. It sounds silly, but that's someone you want. You want someone to be who strives for the best, and he does want the best for the football club. And we all know that he left in not the best circumstances, but it was for that job, and he's faced his critics, and he's come out and he's been totally honest. He hasn't shied away from them like some managers would. And already we playing a lot more like a team than we have all season, I think.
I totally agree. And so, I think it's probably time to clear off. Danny Dyer says he lives in Plymouth, just around the corner. Not according to Wikipedia, don't we? And also, Reese was saying what was the score. But 1-1. 10th minute Pearson mistake, so Fondop scored. And then we've turned it around basically after an hour. Keats made a triple substitution, and that changed things around considerably. And Bobby Grant scored from a really good Devontae Redden cross. Might have been his very first cross, actually. It touched the ball, I think. Great ball by Horsefield, who made a really good debut. And the one thing we haven't mentioned, which I should do because I've sort of moaned about him all season, that Redmond, I thought, best performance he's put in a Wrexham shirt. He really made a difference. He looked creative, dangerous, confident, as you were pointing out in the commentary. He wanted the ball. And I'd also say probably the best Lawler's played this season, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he's right-sided centre-back and he's got Horsefield outside him, and he's got a bit more security. So, good stuff.
Yeah.
Happy days.
On to Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. I might not be able to do Tuesday, I'm not sure. So that's
Chesterfield triple header.
Oh, yeah, man.
I know, what an exciting prospect that is.
We live in exciting times.
Although that means Chesterfield got to do 2 away trips on 2 Tuesday nights to Wrexham. So,
bless them.
Bless them.
Loyalty cards at the ready. Well, see you chaps, and let's hope that they can finish the job on Tuesday.